Hello and welcome to our first online hub service. It's so great that you can join us. We're really excited for this opportunity to try and do church a little bit differently over the next few weeks. This service is going to run very similar to how it would traditionally. We're going to have some sung worship, we're going to have a talk, and then a chance for you to discuss in your mini hubs on either Zoom or any other kind of format that you can join in on. But we just wanted to welcome you and say we hope you really enjoy this and have a lot of fun with our online stuff. So get comfortable, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the service. I'm just going to open in a prayer before we move into a time of worship. God, we thank you for this time that we can come together. We thank you for this opportunity to try church differently. And even though we're not together physically, God, we know that you are with us and you are speaking to us and are excited about this opportunity to gather together online. And God, we just bring to you our weeks, and we bring to you all the highs and the lows and the confusion and the moments of joy. And God, we ask that you would just really be present with us now as we sing these songs and as we hear from your word. God, I pray that you would be present with us and your spirit will be moving. Amen.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will there is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder, show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will not be shaken. You were the Word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. You didn't want heaven without us. So Jesus, you brought heaven down. The sin was great, your love was greater. What could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. Death could not hold the veil tore before you. You silenced the boast of sin and grave. The heavens are roaring the praise of your glory, for you were raised to life again. For you have no rival, and you have no equal. Now and forever, God, you reign. Yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a powerful name it is. For nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. For you have no rival, and you have no equal. Now and forever, God, you reign. And yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ. What a powerful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a powerful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. How great the chasm that lay between us. How high the mountain I could not climb. In desperation, I turned to heaven and spoke your name into the night. Then through the darkness, your loving kindness tore through the shadows of my soul. The work is finished, the end is written. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Who could imagine so great a mercy? What heart could fathom such boundless grace? The God of ages stepped down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame. The cross is spoken, I am forgiven. The King of Kings calls me his own. Beautiful Savior, I'm yours forever. Oh Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your buried body began to breathe, and out of the silence the roaring lion, declared the grave has no claim on me. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your buried body began to breathe out of the silence. The roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. Jesus, yours is the victory. Oh, hallelujah. Praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Jesus Christ, my living hope. God, you are my living hope. Hallelujah. Praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me, for you have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, you're my living hope. For God, you're my living hope. Yes, hallelujah. Praise the one who set me free. And hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me, for you have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope.
Hey guys, so today's Bible reading is from Luke 7, 36 to 47. You might want to grab a Bible and follow along, or an app, or however you read the Bible. It's cool. So, a sinful woman forgiven. One of the Pharisees asked Jesus to eat with him, and he went into the Pharisee's house and took his place at the table. And a woman in the city, who was a sinner, having learned that he was eating in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster jar of ointment. She stood behind him at his feet, weeping, and began to bathe his feet with her tears and to dry them with her hair. Then she continued kissing his feet and anointing them with the ointment. Now when the Pharisee who had invited him saw it, he said to himself, "If this man were a prophet, he would have known who and what kind of woman this is who is touching him, that she is a sinner." Jesus spoke up and said to him, "Simon, I have something to say to you." "Teacher," he replied, "speak." A certain creditor had 2 debtors. One owed 500 denarii and the other 50. When they could not pay, he cancelled the debts for both of them. Now which of them will love him more? Simon answered, "I suppose the one for whom he cancelled the greater debt." And Jesus said to him, "You have judged rightly." Then turning toward the woman, he said to Simon, "Do you see this woman? I entered your house. You gave me no water for my feet, but she has bathed my feet with her tears and dried them with her hair. You gave me no kiss, but from the time I came in, she has not stopped kissing my feet. You did not anoint my head with oil, but she has anointed my feet with ointment. Therefore, I tell you, her sins, which were many, have been forgiven. Hence she has shown great love. But the one to whom little is forgiven loves little." So that was our Bible reading for today, and again that is Luke 7:36 to 47.
If you've joined us in the last couple of minutes, you're so welcome. I just wanted to take the next few minutes to share a little bit about how we can respond to all that is happening during this coronavirus. We wanted to kind of think about how we can respond to this, and as we've been thinking and praying about it, we really felt the kind of need to respond positively, but also to kind of turn our attention to God at this time. I think it would be so easy to let ourselves become distracted, to kind of get caught up in all that is going on. And actually we have an opportunity now where we have extra time and extra space to fix our eyes on Jesus and to hear what he might have to say about this situation. And so amongst the chaos and amongst the confusion, we'd love to just share a little bit with you this morning. One of the things that we felt really passionate about was that we actually wanted to continue with our Worthy series. This was something we've been planning for a long time, and we felt that actually it was a great opportunity to keep going with this and to share what we felt like God had been kind of put on our hearts for the next couple of weeks. And so over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be looking at the same 4 questions that we had planned to anyway. And today, this week, we wanted to explore the question of what is worship. And next week, that'll be kind of followed by a part 2 of kind of like a bit of a response to this. How do we worship in this time, at this moment? What does it look like for us practically? And so what is worship? If you look at the kind of definition for worship, if you look at kind of what it actually means in the word, it basically means to bow before someone, to treat someone with honour and with reverence. And so that's kind of, in its simplicity, that is what worship is. And I think if you look at kind of the history of humanity, and maybe if you reflect on your own experience a little bit, I think what we can see is that we are made to worship. We actually kind of have this innate purpose within us to worship something or someone. And I think because of that, we actually all worship something. Whether that's your football team, whether that's your friends, your careers, your family maybe, that anything or anyone can become an object of worship if we prioritise it above any other thing. And so worship can be many things, it can look like many things, but basically worship in its simplicity is when we kind of prioritise, when we treat something with honour and with reverence. A little while ago I heard a definition of worship that I've kind of held on to ever since, and that was worship is whatever gets your mind's attention and your heart's affection. Worship is whatever gets your heart's attention and your mind's attention and your heart's affection. And so a question I've maybe put to you to reflect on initially is, what do you worship? What are the things or the people or the places maybe even that you worship, that you hold in this high regard, that gets your mind's attention and your heart's affection? A few years ago, it was in the middle of winter, and I was ice skating at the Natural History Museum in London, which is a really great thing to do. I'd encourage you to do it once this is all over, if that's something you like to do. And I was with a group of friends, and as we were skating around having fun, one of my friends turned to a little kid who was also there at that time, and asked him to take a photo of our group. And as she kind of tried to pass over the phone to him, he kind of turned nervously towards us and said, no, actually, I don't think that is something I'm allowed to do, which is a bit of a strange response, isn't it, if you've just been asked to take a photo of a group. But as I looked at him and kind of was listening to him, I realised that it was actually one of the Beckham's kids. Believe it or not, I was ice skating at the Natural History Museum with the Beckhams. And this kind of got me really excited. I love David Beckham. He's like one of my heroes. And I spent the kind of next few minutes skating around trying to see if I could see David and Victoria, because obviously that's what their friends call them. And I did eventually. I found them. They were kind of off to the side on the sidelines and watching their kids skate round. And so I was trying with my friends to plan a way of me trying to bump into David Beckham accidentally, of course. I wondered if I could kind of go to the toilet and accidentally brush past him. But as I was kind of thinking of this and scheming away, I wondered what I would do if I bumped into him. Would I like say anything? Would I like kind of lose all hope and just become speechless? Would I like kind of bow at his feet and, try and, I don't know what I'd do. But I think that is a little bit like what happens when we worship, when we hold someone in such high regard. What would our response be if your favourite celebrity walked into the room that you're currently in? What would you do if Jesus walked into the room that you are currently in, that you're sitting down in comfortably, whether that's your house or wherever you're at? What would you do if you were able to meet Jesus? And there's a story in the Bible that, as I kind of reflected on this, that came to mind. And we've already read it, but I wanted just to share a little bit about what I think God might be saying through this story. As we've already seen, it comes from Luke 7, which is one of the Gospels in the New Testament. And it's the story of this woman coming into the kind of presence of Jesus and bowing down at his feet. There are lots of things that we learn from this story that we kind of pick out from the text. The first thing that I think that we see or we read is that she is a sinner. Luke makes this pretty clear from everything that he says. He says it on a number of different times that she is someone who has a reputation. We don't know why, we don't know what she's done, but we know that she has some history that the people around her are aware of. And she enters this place, this room where all these important people are sitting down to eat. Can you imagine the scandal of this? This woman, this sinner, this lady with this horrible reputation comes into this room filled with all these important people. But the scandal gets even worse because Jesus then allows this lady, this woman, to touch him. He allows her to bow down at his feet and to wipe and to wash his feet. I can imagine the people around him thinking, how dare he do this? How dare he allow this sinful woman to be doing this to him? We don't hear anything from this woman. There are no words kind of recorded that she says, but I think actions in this case speak 1,000 words, that we know what she's saying from what she does to Jesus. And one of the things that we hear that she says, is that she pours perfume on Jesus's feet. This perfume that if it we worked out how much it would cost, it would probably cost about a year's salary. This ridiculous, scandalous, generous gift that she uses to pour onto Jesus. But why does she do this? Why does she go to such great lengths to kind of do this to Jesus? I think the first reason is because she realises who Jesus is and what he has done for her and what he will do for her. In that moment, the financial cost, the social cost, the embarrassment of what she was doing didn't matter anymore. Why? Because great forgiveness provides the opportunity for great love. Great forgiveness provides the opportunity for great love. And so what does Jesus teach us through this story? What do we learn? Well, I think what we learn is that for us, when we realise what Jesus has done for us, when we realise his unconditional, unwavering love for us that will never, ever change, when we realise that he died to set us free from all the things that hold us back, that enslave us, and that he invites us to this life of freedom and of grace, when we live in him, then our response to that is worship. It's thankfulness. It's complete and utter devotion to him. And so what do we learn about worship from this story? Well, I think firstly, as I said, we learn that worship is an act of complete devotion to someone. It's not just about singing, although that obviously is part of it, but worship is where we dedicate time, where we dedicate energy, where we dedicate our attention to God, where we declare the truths about him. And this isn't kind of some sort of emotional response. This isn't just how we're feeling about him in that current moment, but this is where we declare the truths about Jesus that are everlasting and are unwavering. There's this beautiful psalm that I love, and I just wanted to share that with you as something for us to kind of reflect on as we think about this topic. It's Psalm 95, and it starts at verse 1, and it says, "O come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. For the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods. In his hands are the depths of the earth, the heights of the mountains are his also. The sea is his, for he made it, and the dry land which his hands have formed. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker, for he is our God. We are the people of his pasture and the sheep of his land." And so what does worship mean? What does it look like in the kind of context of all that is happening around us, all that we are experiencing with coronavirus? Well, I think the challenge and the encouragement to us is to let worship become the antidote to our worry. To let worship become the thing that kind of counters our fear, counters any anxiety that we have about what is happening around us. Because I think what we know and what we learn about worship is that worship doesn't actually change who God is. That as we kind of declare the truths about him, that doesn't change who he is fundamentally, but what it does is that it changes us. It changes our attitude, it changes our posture, and it changes how we respond to the situations around us. And so I want to encourage you as we kind of enter this time of discussion, as we enter kind of an opportunity to chat amongst each other, to reflect on what it means to let God have your mind's attention and your heart's affection. Let's worship God during this time. Let's turn our attention to him, and let's not be distracted by the things that are around us. Time for you to discuss. Go for it.